All right, guys. So have been waiting for this challenge to kind of show one of my favorite decks in Expanded. Unfortunately, the deck is not really competitive because of Guzma, but the reason why I still like this deck is just to complete the daily challenge for growing strong. Basically, evolutions is a is what this deck is intended for. I'm sure you guys can tell by the thumbnail. Um, this is Accelgor, so Accelgor just recycles itself, but it's not competitive just because there's so many outs to it now. It's still fun. I like playing it, and I like doing my daily challenges just to collect coins and eventually get packs. I completed all the challenges, and I just like making decks to complete it. So this is going to be another one of those daily challenge videos, and this is going to focus on just getting this. I'm going to try to get this completed in one go. I wasn't able to do that with the fighting video, as you guys saw, but I was close. It was just a bad matchup. I thought it'd be fine, but I wasn't. So let's get into the deck itself. So let's get into the deck manager. And I apologize for that last video with ADP, how I had it for the entire screen instead of the window. All right, so the main goal here, there's not that many Pokemon. What I like about this deck for the most part is everything except for Trevenant can be searched out using Level Ball. Um, I remember when this deck was first coming out, people loved using Shaman, and to me, it didn't make any sense just because Shaman, Shaman's a basic. It only works the one time. So Octillery, I feel, is a better fit for this deck because it's continuous. We can level ball it, and you'll see the fact that you do have to evolve it is actually a strength for this deck. Most people like basics just because they're more efficient, but you'll see that the fact that this is a stage one kind of helps it out. So here is our main card that's going to drive the entire deck, Accelgor. That deck and cover, notice that it's a DCE to do deck and cover. You are never going to do hammer in. In fact, this deck doesn't even have grass energies to do hammer in. So this allows you to paralyze and poison um, your opponent, and paralyzing auto paralyze is really good because they can't retreat, they can't attack, and Trevenant here is going to prevent them from using items. Let's do the reverse one. I don't know, I'm kind of torn between if I like the reverse or the hollow. But Trevenant's going to prevent them from using item cards. This used to completely block people out. However, now that there's cards like Guzma, when Lysander came out, that kind of destroyed this this deck concept. Um, I know Trevenant came out around the same time Lysander did, but this deck used to be played with Gothitelle. Trevenant just kind of a little different. Or actually, yeah, they came out around the same time because of XY. So Ultra Ball, you run four of them. You have a lot of like repetitive stuff in this deck, so there's a lot of stuff that can be just foddered out. Foddered, FODDER out with Ultra Ball. So that's never a problem. Once you get set up, it's all done. VS Seeker, you need that because again, you're going to be throwing away a lot of stuff from Ultra Ball. So might as well get some reuses out of it. These two cards I always go back and forth on what I want these two cards to be. I can never kind of figure out what I want it to be. Sometimes it's a computer search, sometimes um, it's a different type of ball, like a repeat ball. That one was the weakest one, I thought. Right now, I actually really like Great Ball because you'll see this deck kind of thins itself out really fast. Level Ball, like I said, gets everything except for Trevenant. Computer Search, there's so many things you want to get in this deck. It can be used as an Ultra Ball, or you can use it to get a supporter or a DCE. Most likely, you're going to want to get those DCEs. Trainer's Mail, you're going to see there is a bunch of trainers here. If we look here, we can see that we have 38 trainer cards. So that can get anything. Luckily, Trainer's Mail isn't limited to just items, any type of trainer. And the 4 energies right now is 4 DCs. I haven't added twin energy yet. That's it's something to consider, but I feel it runs really well with the 4 DCEs. Who knows? Maybe I'll get rid of this and start running twin energy just because the more energy, the better. Silent Lab. I really like Silent Lab because at the time that I made this deck with Gothitelle instead of Trevenant, there were a lot of outs between Verizian preventing special conditions, between Keldeo doing rush in and retreat. So there was a lot of outs when it came to basic abilities. Even now, a lot of those GXs, EXs have so many abilities that can prevent things from happening. So I really enjoyed this card when it came out. However, it came out I remember it came out at a time where there were other cards that prevented this from happening. Lysander came out like a little bit after, I believe, or before. I don't remember the timeline, but I remember I felt that this came out a little too late. I think it was at the time where Accelgor must have rotated out. Um, Karen. I enjoy Karen a lot because she returns cards back, or not just cards, Pokemon. So this is really good against Night March. It's also really good once you have to father out some Trevenants and things like that. It just gets you your Pokemon back without having to worry about other things that you may not want back into the deck. For example, like if you Elms or Bridget, um, Juniper, probably one of the best supporters ever made, also known as Professor's Research now. Um, so this, you can consider this basically rotted to be like Professor's Research, Professor Juniper, because now Pokemon decided to make the car have a single name, so you keep repeating. Um, Elms. I like Elms because this brings the cards to your hand as opposed to straight to the bench. So you can prepare yourself. All of the basics here are under 60 or 60 HP or under. So we have Shelmet, Remoraid, and Phantom. They're all under 60 HP, so you can grab any of them. I can go over these guys. While mentioning these guys, I like running the Yawn Shelmet just because sometimes when things get a little dicey, it's like might as well try to put your opponent to sleep and see if you can somehow survive. It stalled me. I've stalled out a few times because of it, and it's great. Um, I just run Eon Pool because if I have to attack, I'm like, let me get rid of a Stadium. I could even get rid of a Chaotic Swole. Um, I love the Ascension Trevenant because if you have to attack, um, just evolve right into your Trevenant turn 2. Boom. I mean it in turn 2 as in you go second, and you're just able to evolve right away. That T1 Trevenant, your T1 Trevenant is really great. Guzma's good in case I've noticed a lot of times if your opponent understands how important the artillery is, they'll Guzma it up, and if you don't aren't able to retreat out of it, it lets you pick a Pokemon on top of getting out of there. And since we're going to be running float stones on top of Accelgor having free retreat, that's one of the beauties of Accelgor just having free retreat. You can promote him if something dies, and if you're like, oh, can't do anything about it, you can always free retreat. So Guzma kind of makes the fact that you switch out not even a hindrance. Like switching out's great. You can get rid of special conditions and things like that. It's also the reason why this deck isn't competitive because of that switching. Your opponent can use it to switch out. Bridget, I just put Bridget in here because it's nice and fast. it's nice to just have another card. If I was gonna run another card, it's like might as well run some more Bridgets. But like I said, Elm technically has more use because it comes to the hand. Bridget like forces it to be on the bench, so you can't really set up for next turn. You can't, like, if you only have two spots available, you can't grab a third Shelmet to have them in your hand for next turn. End's really good just because late game you're either gonna not care about how many cards you draw because artillery is gonna let you draw them, and but you're still able to limit your opponent's hand. I don't think it's strong enough to run a lot of. So usually what I end up doing is I just ultra ball it away, and later on I will via secret back to play it, just because early game it might help out your opponent more. To end late game, it's a lot more helpful because odds are you're not going to care because artillery, like, you, even if you're down to one prize, your artillery grab all your cards back. And of course DCE. I cannot talk up artillery enough. There's so many times where you can just end to nothing, draw your entire hand and things. And one of the beauties about this deck is you want to thin it out as soon as possible because if you're able to attack, you can never deck out. Deck and cover just makes sure. I've had several opponents tell me, well played, assuming that they won the game because I decked myself out, quote unquote. But since decking out doesn't happen until the beginning of your turn, once I attack with Accelgor, I have cards in my hand. Now it's a little trickier with other control decks. Again, like I said, this deck isn't competitive. I'm just going to try to see if I can evolve 10 Shelmets and get that achievement. For the reason that I run, a lot of people run the Mew, either the EX or the non-EX one. I don't like running that because you can't run Silent Lab. Silent Lab prevents so many outs from your opponent that running Mew, and even worse, running Mew EX, it just doesn't work out that well because if they knock out a Mew EX, even though it's a basic and very useful, that's two prizes. The strength of this deck is that it doesn't run EXs, GXs, uh, V Pokemon now. So now that the deck's kind of explained, let's get into it. I like, if you guys are curious about what coins I'm running the Accelgor uh, Excavalier coin. Deck box, I like running my little Psychic and Grass deck. Sleeves, I just really like this Gorgeist. I know I'm running, it's a Trevenant, not a Gorgeist, but it looks very mysterious, and I like that look to it. So I like running the Gorgeist one. So let's get into a battle and see if I can knock out that daily challenge. Again, I just like these because it motivates me to climb the ladder. As you can see, I have like 9 days to get like 900 more coins. So as long as I get like 900 victory points a day, or 100 victory points a day, I'll be able to get that remaining, like, what is that, 859 points. So we're going to move over to expanded. I even have this deck starred just because I think it's fun. Again, it's not competitive, but I like playing it. Kind of like my Night March, which I also have starred there. So let's take a look at who we're playing against. Hopefully I could just get this win in the bag. So, I get to flip. All right, let's see what's going on here. Is he choosing to go first? Um, I get to go first. So sometimes this deck does not like going first anymore, simply because I can't play supporters turn one, and this looks like it's a terrible start for me. Depending on how bad this is, guys, I'll record another video. Again, these aren't scripted anymore. I just want to go in. I want to make my video and keep going into it. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to choose not to attach the DCE simply because if I attach it, it might cause problems later on. I know the game's yelling at me to attach it, but I don't think it's going to help me right here if they are able to either Faba that energy away or enhance hammer it. I don't think people run enhance hammer as much anymore. Ugh. Well, that stinks. But the beauty is, since he is running the Brooklet Hill, I'm able to search out for my Remoraid, and next turn I'll be able to get the Octillery. So that's actually helping me out. Oh, and they definitely wanted to get rid of that Silent Lab. Honestly, I usually don't play the Stadium turn one. I think I just got a little emotional and was just like, let me just play this. My hand sucks, and wanted to play it. But you live and you learn. Honestly, though, Brooklet Hill, there could have been worse things that he could have played, but Brooklet Hill actually helps me out a lot. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get my Remoraid. I'm actually going to attach the float, or actually I don't even need to attach the float zone. I'm going to evolve to get that free retreat um, because I am not set up yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trainer lock him now just to get that in. I know I could have attacked, but that didn't put me in a strong enough position because I don't have another Shelmet. You always want to have another Shelmet going in. I'm going to put this in now because even if he Fabas it away or anything, he can't really use an item card to get rid of it. I'll have another one to replace it. So let's trainer lock him now. I'll be able to attach another float stone if I need to and evolve into Octillery. Your goal is to set up in this deck. Do not try to go aggressive. Um, I need to get editing software because I'm thinking like I can start putting like a one here to keep track of my evolution. So we're at one evolution. Let's see if I can actually keep track of it, unlike when I did the Mian Xiao deck. So he is forcing me to choose. This isn't favorable. So he can explosion because of the energy. So I'm actually gonna sacrifice my Accelgor. I don't mind it so much. I need to set up, and I know that seems contradictory if he does kill the Accelgor, but I don't mind it. I think right now it's actually better for me to get rid of this and evolve my artillery. I can always bridge it or elms. Oh, and he just wanted to see if he could get rid of it, I guess. I don't know what the point of that was. So right here, I'm going to, this goes to the bench, so that's not going to work. So I'm actually going to just discard my hand using the Ultra Ball. And I'm going to pick up another Shelmet to kind of set myself up here. So go here. Let's grab my 5 cards. All right, and I have a DCE, so that's going to help me out here. Hopefully, I can get another Phantom or Shelmet from this. Ugh, that's terrible. All right, so I have that. I already lost a floatstone, so I do not want to get rid of another floatstone. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to trim it here. I have not played a supporter yet, so this is the part where I say that Elm kind of holds his strength over Bridget. Is I'm able to just grab another Shelmet here, which I can't do anyways, but I'll just grab another Phantom, even though I only have 2 spots. So I'm going to go here. The reason why I also like Bridget also has her benefits too, because since it goes straight to the bench, it's a lot faster than having to pick, having to drop them down. Sometimes you just have to kind of play the game of time because of this deck. So because I know that he can essentially attack himself and he has this prevention cube, I'm not going to sacrifice my Trevenant. I'm actually going to sacrifice a Phantom. I already lost one float stone, so losing a Phantom isn't the end of the world, although that kind of sucks. I just drew a Trevenant because I could have evolved the Trevenant this next turn. So maybe the play would have been to sacrifice that Shelmet. I considered it, especially since I had two. The more I think about it, that was the better play. So he's probably, yep, he went for the Trevenant. He should have honestly gone for the Artillery. Um, but that works out for me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to promote the Shelmet. I am going to evolve here. I don't really need the Artillery. I do need the DCE. Um, I'm debating if I want to get rid of this. So the beauty of this deck is if you ever need to just shorten your hand size, you can always just attach a Flowstone to a Shelmet because that'll eventually turn into an Accelgor, and then you can just get rid of it. So I'm going to attach this. I'm going to attach that. I have one father here, so I can definitely get the Accelgor, and I just need to just throw something else away from this draw. All right, so getting that Accelgor. Anyway, I'm going to go here to try to get me another Shelmet. Because since I deck in Colorford, there's a Shelmet in there. Hopefully from this Juniper, I'm going to get me another Accelgor. So I'll go here. Let's make sure he doesn't get another one of those. Let's set up another Accelgor for the next one. I evolved one, so this is going to be my third Accelgor. Going here. Do I want to? Because he has weakness, I don't think I'm ever gonna need this, so I'm just gonna get rid of this Guzma right now. I'm gonna prepare for another Accelgor because again, my goal isn't to win right now, so it's just to get these evolutions in play. I have three of them, so he's gonna get paralyzed because he doesn't have items. I don't know if he has a Guzma in his hand or a boss's orders. He definitely can't be a seeker for that boss's orders again. So he's gonna have to pass, and I get to attack again next turn, and I get that prize card. So sometimes you want to do a little bit of math here, where that damage counter coming back. Basically, the math you want to do is if they're weak, it's 120 damage going back into your turn, 70 damage if they are not weak. So here I get another Shelmet. Again, I'm at 3. So he's going to have to promote, which he is probably realizing that there is a problem here because going into my turn, no matter what he picks, he's going to end up dying. So he's going to try to get a KO here. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to just sacrifice my Shelmet. I can always get like another Trevenant or something later because I don't have a Trevenant right now. Uh, it's unfavorable for me to do other stuff. So let's take a look here. I don't know if I want to get rid of this DCE. Sometimes you do want to get rid of the DCE just to make yourself set up better. I'm going to get rid of it. I haven't lost any yet. So losing one, oh, I have lost the DCE. Ugh. So good thing that I checked that. So, oh yeah, that's right. I lost it because of the Trevenant. So what I'm gonna do here is, I'm actually good. You don't always have to play a supporter. Just remember, guys, you don't always have to play a supporter. You can just be fine. So I'm just gonna do this. I can either sacrifice the, you know what? I'm gonna sacrifice the Accelgor because why not? He might get excited and just be like, I'm gonna get that Accelgor down and not even try to boss his orders his way out of this. He does have items, so he can do all kinds of stuff. He can be a seeker right now. So let's see. He is item bagging. So he's putting tools back in. This is going to end up hurting him in the long run because, oh, he gets it from the deck. Okay, I mean, he doesn't kill himself, but that's fine because of the damage, how the damage is working. It's going to end up hurting him more. especially because he doesn't appear to have a fighting energy in his hand. So that's going to hurt him right now. He's going to sacrifice a card from his hand. Please don't get a shaman, dude. Come on. You know better than this. Although he did sacrifice a stadium. Oh, and he's getting a bell toy. Protection cube. Oof. He is not in a favorable position right now. If he would have sacrificed a belt toy, I guess he doesn't have another shaman. So I did lose an Accelgor there. No big deal. I'm honestly probably going to Karen right now with the VS Seekers. So I'm going to promote myself. Meh. Go here. I am going to. Oof. I do need. I'm actually not going to Karen right now because I need more basics. So I'm going to get rid of this because the VS Seekers are a little more useful than the Trainer's Mail. I don't really need the Juniper right now. I do need an Accelgor though. All right, like that. That should be 4, I believe. I'm going to play my Elm. So grab this, grab a Phantom. Again, Elm shows his strength again. I really should get a 4th Elm for this deck. I just didn't want to trade for another full art since I already had the full art bridges from the initial build of this deck, but I probably should get another Elm. I keep lying to myself and saying that Bridget does have its benefits because of time, but I think Elm just has a lot of strength to it. So I'm going to hit this for weakness. Going to go here. Let's go into this. I probably should eventually Karen. Hopefully, he doesn't do anything to make me need to Karen next turn. It doesn't look like that. He is not in a favorable position right now. He's probably going to sacrifice this, I imagine, unless he really wants to take 2 prizes. He wants to take 2 prizes. This guy surprises me a lot. Okay, so I have this. I'm going to Karen just to be able to get more Trevenants up in the field here. No, I don't want to Karen again. You keep putting me in these positions. I like having 2 Shelmets besides the Accelgor, mainly because it just puts me in a favorable spot. If you lose your second or your primary Shelmet on the bench, it just puts you in a really bad spot. So I believe this one is 5. I really need to get like a counter or something. So we'll do that. We'll draw because why not? Why not draw? One thing that's interesting, guys, is if you ever find yourself with 2 Trevenants, if you know it's going to get knocked out, always sacrifice the one that doesn't have a float stone if one of them doesn't have a float stone, just because they're such a precious resource. This doesn't run what is it, Eco Arm to get those back, and I wouldn't even run Eco Arm just to get my float stones back. So he shouldn't have anything to do, so we should be able to win this next game because I'm going to Juniper. Notice how my deck is so thin. Juniper is essentially going to get rid of everything here. I can mitigate this by, actually I can't mitigate this at all. So I'm just going to throw away my entire hand, draw half of my deck here. And as you can see, I have game. So let's give him a nice well played here. Everything's completely set up. Even if it wasn't, I would have gotten this. Oh, I didn't even have Karen. I was talking about Karen this whole time, and I didn't even have one. And I can still abysmal arm here just to get that other evolution. Unfortunately, I don't think that's enough to get it. But you can see how this deck plays. It doesn't matter that I didn't win by the attack because we were going for the evolution. So luckily, I hit that evolution. At least I think I did. Let's see. I believe that should have been 6. And it looked like 6. I'll check it right now. But you guys can see how it is possible to do this. He just ran a very unfavorable deck against mine. So he didn't do anything of significance that the match wouldn't have taken that long. So we got 8. Oh, wow. I don't know when I missed an evolution there because I know I said 6 and I know I didn't count one. But there you go, guys. If the game lasted longer, I would have gotten that 10. I'm honestly probably going to play another game off camera just to get the rest of these coins. The game did give me enough. I think I was at 300 at the start of this video, so now I can get 2 packs if I want. But there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you guys have any ideas for any other videos, let me know. I'm going to keep releasing daily challenge videos, standard videos, expanded videos, just so you guys can see the types of decks I have. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that other call to action stuff. You guys take care.